El Salvador has started to fill its mega prison with a transfer of 2,000 gang members and criminals, including members of MS-13 and Barrio-18. Today at dawn, in a single operation, we transferred the first 2,000 gang members to the Center for the Confinement of Terrorism, SECOT, El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele wrote on Twitter. This will be their new home, where they won't be able to do any more harm to the population. Bukele also posted a video on Twitter that showed prisoners, bound by shackles at their ankles and with hands behind their backs, running into the new facility. The prisoners wore white shorts and had shaved heads, with many men bearing gang tattoos. The prisoners can be seen sitting tightly packed together on the floor of the facility with their hands behind their heads while they stare down at their feet. The new 40,000-person facility opened last month after an accelerated building schedule, doubling El Salvador's prison capacity in less than a year. The prison is one of Latin America's largest, with 37 guard towers and 8 cell blocks that will be impossible to escape. Authorities have confirmed a crash in Arizona involving a pickup truck and a group of bicyclists left at least 2 people dead and 11 others injured. Emergency responders pronounced a woman dead at the scene, and the second fatality occurred later at the hospital after the Goodyear Police Department said the pickup was driving along Cotton Lane near Phoenix Saturday morning when it struck a large group of adult bicyclists. Both of the deceased were bicyclists. Goodyear police spokesperson Lisa Berry said the driver of the pickup truck, who was not identified, remained at the scene. It is not immediately clear if the driver was arrested. Police have not released further information about what caused the crash. It is not known if the driver was impaired or speeding. A short time later, another crash was reported in the Goodyear area, involving at least 4 vehicles. 3 victims, including an elderly man, a pregnant woman, and a 7-year-old girl, were transported to the hospital. Officials from Texas and Michigan say they were unaware that soil and water from the site of the East Palestine, Ohio, freight train derailment was being taken to their areas. A Norfolk Southern train with 50 rail cars, 10 of which were carrying vinyl chloride, derailed in East Palestine on February 3. The derailment caused hazardous chemicals to spill onto the ground and sent a plume of smoke into the air. Days after the derailment, officials conducted a controlled release of chemicals to avoid the risk of an explosion. Residents were evacuated before officials conducted the release, but have since been allowed back. Wastewater and soil from the site of the derailment was taken to hazardous waste companies in both Texas and Michigan, and some officials claim that they didn't get any notice. A spokesperson for the Environmental Protection Agency told that Norfolk Southern was in charge of the disposal of waste from the East Palestine derailment, adding that the company supplied Ohio EPA with their list of selected and utilized disposal facilities on February 23. Paris Hilton opened up recently about an alleged encounter she said she had with Harvey Weinstein when he followed her into a bathroom and shouted at her more than 20 years ago. "It scared me and freaked me out," the hotel heiress said of the incident at the 2000 Cannes Film Festival with the convicted sex offender and former Hollywood heavyweight. The 42-year-old told Glamour UK for its February issue that she first met Weinstein, 70, at the French festival when she was having lunch with a friend. She said the next evening at the Foundation for AIDS Research Gala, Weinstein, who was sentenced to 16 years in prison in Los Angeles this week after being sentenced to 23 years in New York in 2020, followed her into the ladies' room. Weinstein is already serving a 23-year-long prison sentence after being convicted of rape and sexual assault in New York in 2020. This new sentence is set to be served after the New York sentence, but Weinstein will likely die behind bars, given he's 70 years old. More than 90 women have now accused Weinstein of sexual misconduct, although he has generally denied wrongdoing. Weinstein is now appealing his New York case, which makes the California conviction and sentencing even more important for the women who've accused him of sexual misconduct. If Weinstein's New York conviction is overturned, then the California case would guarantee that he stays behind bars. The Washington Post, the Los Angeles Times and other newspapers across the country say they will no longer carry the syndicated Dilbert comic strip after cartoonist Scott Adams urged white people to get the hell away from black people. He uttered his racist advice during his online video program last week, during which he labeled black people a hate group. Adams opens the episode discussing the presidential bid by Republican multi-millionaire entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy. Then, 13 minutes into the video, Adams began his screed by citing the results of a recent public opinion poll conducted by the conservative-leaning Rasmussen reports. By telephone and online, the group surveyed 1,000 American adults with this question: do you agree or disagree with this statement, "It's okay to be white"? The report found that 72% of the respondents agreed, including 53% who are black. Some 26% of black respondents disagreed, and 21% said they are not sure. The poll also found that 79% of all the respondents agreed with the statement black people can be racist too. Adams previously claimed he was a victim of racism in Hollywood and corporate America. He was also a vocal supporter of Donald Trump. For 3 decades, he produced his comic strip Dilbert, which satirizes office culture. According to Andrews McMeel syndication, Dilbert appeared in 2,000 newspapers in 65 countries and 25 languages. A pregnant Illinois woman is recovering in the hospital after she was run over by carjackers who stole her vehicle with her 2-year-old son still inside. The woman, who was 6 months pregnant, had just taken one of her children inside after arriving home in the northern Chicago suburb of Libertyville on Thursday. When she went back outside to get her 2-year-old, a white BMW pulled behind her VW Atlas, according to the Lake County Sheriff's Office. The male passenger in the BMW got out and tried to steal the VW as the woman fought to protect her son. The man attacked the woman, knocking her to the ground and taking the car with her son inside, the sheriff's office said. As the 2 men in the cars fled, one of them ran over the woman, inflicting serious injuries. The 34-year-old woman was able to call 911. Luckily, the men left the toddler in a parking lot, and a person inside a business grabbed him before he could wander into a nearby busy road. The woman is recovering in serious but stable condition at a local hospital. No arrests have been made. Some boxing fans will be quick to dismiss the legitimacy of Jake Paul's fight with Tommy Fury, but there is no denying that it is one of the biggest boxing events of 2023. After 2 cancellations, it looked like the 2 rivals would never go head-to-head inside the ring, but now Paul and Fury have weighed in ahead of their clash in Saudi Arabia on Sunday night. There is plenty of pressure resting on the shoulders of both men. For Paul, it's chance to prove that he can actually match the ability of an active professional boxer, while Fury is looking to do his family and WBC World Heavyweight Champion Tyson Fury proud. In addition to personal pride, a win for either fighter would earn them a WBC World Ranking within the organization's top 40 cruiserweights, which could be the start needed to make a push for a world title shot. Now, we'll finally get to see what happens when 2 boxing neophytes who are better known for being reality stars finally meet in the ring. And there's a good chance Paul will continue to mark himself as one of the top PPV attractions in the entire sport. MMA Fighting has Jake Paul vs Tommy Fury live round-by-round updates for one of the most anticipated boxing fights of the year at the Diriyah Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on Sunday afternoon. The main event is expected to begin around 5 p.m. Police revealed earlier this week that Alabama freshman phenom Brandon Miller has a connection to a fatal shooting near campus last month. According to police, Miller transported, though never handled, the alleged murder weapon to his ex-teammate, Darius Miles. The gun was legally owned by Miles, who then allegedly gave it to Michael Davis. Miles and Davis have been charged with capital murder in the death of 23-year-old Jamia Janae Harris. And police say Miller will not be charged. Because Miller has cooperated with law enforcement and stayed out of legal trouble, he has continued to play for the team, drawing plenty of backlash. Despite getting a standing ovation in his first home game back, Miller still stirred anger elsewhere. Since the start of the season, whenever Miller has been introduced as a member of the starting lineup, a teammate pats him down as if Miller were going through security. Despite the latest revelation, Miller and a teammate continued to ritual and received plenty of backlash. Head coach Nate Oates, who has defended the decision to continue playing Miller, addressed the ritual after the game and said it will no longer take place. Miller is considered a witness, not a suspect, in the murder. A historic storm system that slammed the Golden State with heavy rain and mountain snow is beginning to let up along the west coast as crews assess the damage left behind by the winter wallop. At the peak of the storm, millions were under winter alerts and flood advisories as 5-10 of rainfall fell in the lower elevations and more than 5 feet of snow fell in the mountains. The snow-made areas along Interstate 5 north of Los Angeles look like a winter wonderland, which shut down traffic for extended period. The National Weather Service office in San Diego issued its first-ever blizzard warning on Friday, while the Los Angeles National Weather Service office issued its first blizzard warning in 34 years and warned some residents to stay off the roads. They also issued blizzard warnings for higher elevations across Santa Barbara and Fresno counties. Yosemite and Sequoia National Parks are included in the blizzard warnings as well. They warned that 80 miles per hour wind gusts could have resulted in wind chills values of 35 degrees below zero, which can cause frostbite on exposed skin in just minutes. Bitterly cold temperatures helped drop snow levels to as low as 1,000 feet, which meant communities that typically never see snow were slipping and sliding across the coastal ranges. 2 of 5 people shot after a celebration of life in Minnesota have died, police say. Officers were called out around 5:15 p.m. Saturday in the 500 block of Dale Street North in St. Paul for a report of a person shot. When they arrived, they found a chaotic scene. Officers requested fire medics but were informed some of the injured people were taken to hospitals in private vehicles. One man was pronounced dead by fire medics and another man was pronounced dead at a hospital after arriving in a private vehicle. Among the other 3 victims of the shooting, 1 man is in critical condition at a hospital, 1 woman is in stable condition at a hospital and another woman was being treated for non-life-threatening injuries at a hospital. The parking lot the shooting happened belongs to King's Crossing, an apartment building for low-income senior citizens. Investigators are conducting interviews to understand what happened and who is responsible. A motive, in this case, has not been determined, although investigators do not believe it was a random shooting. No arrests have been made.